Right now, you're looking at a face before you even mean to. A stranger on a subway. A coworker at a doorway. A tiny pause in a group chat photo. Your eyes move first. The jaw tightens. The mouth seems friendly, or not. You read the face, then realize you have already decided something important. Safe, tense, awkward, welcome. In a modern room, that reaction feels automatic, almost too fast to notice. But it is also strangely old. As if some older part of you still treats a face like a message that can change what happens next. One look can warm the room. One look can freeze it. Why does a human face still pull that much power? Why does your mind search eyes and mouths for danger, or belonging, as if something is at stake beyond manners? Faces once meant survival risk. So what is the hidden cost of still carrying that old habit now? Long before clean stations and bright screens, people lived close enough that a face could decide whether you ate, slept, or stayed alone outside the circle. A small group did not have room for careless trust. If someone looked angry, guarded, or ready to turn away, that could mean less food shared, less shelter offered, less protection at night. There were no locks on stone shelters, no emergency number, no crowd to disappear into. There was only the group, the fire, and the dark beyond it. At dusk, a tired body had to notice a glance across the flames. It had to catch the tight mouth, the lowered eyes, the sudden silence after a conflict. Hunger sharpened the stakes. Cold made every absence harder. If a child was watched with suspicion, if a helper read the wrong signal, if a warning face was missed, the cost was not embarrassment. It was being left with less help when the night turned long and the camp grew quiet. That pressure did not pass in one season. It repeated every day. In the morning, at a hunt, in a shared meal, in a disagreement over food, in the moment before sleep when the fire burned low, faces kept carrying news. Who is angry? Who is open? Who is pulling away? Who may still stand with you when danger comes? In a small band, the same question returned again and again. Are you still inside the group, or are you sliding toward the edge of it? A person who could read that edge quickly had a better chance of keeping help, meat, shelter, and a place near the warmth. A person who missed it might find the circle turning quiet, might feel the gap where a hand should have been, might wake to a room of eyes that no longer meet yours. That is why the body and mind could not afford to ignore faces. The pressure was too old, too repeated, too tied to belonging. Faces once meant survival risk. And when that kind of pressure keeps returning, the mind does not treat faces as decoration. It treats them like signals from the edge of loss. The eyes start checking before thought catches up. The mouth, the brow, the pause, the look away, all of it begins to matter in a deeper way than modern life admits. But what exactly did ancient humans have to do with that pressure, and how did the mind turn it into something faster than choice? The answer was sitting in the ordinary life of the camp. A glance across the fire. A mouth set tight after an argument. A child pausing before reaching for shared meat. People who stayed alive in these groups were the ones who noticed the difference between a face that welcomed and a face that shut the door. They did not need a special device for that. They needed attention trained by repetition. Every day brought another test. Who will share? Who will turn away? Who is tense because danger is near, and who is tense because you are? In that world, the face became a live surface. Eyes, jaw, distance, silence. All of it carried information. A helper who read those signs early could move closer, speak softer, wait, or pull back before conflict spread. A child watching adults learned the pattern by seeing it happen again and again. The open question is how that human attention became so fast that it could work before a person had time to explain it to themselves. The adaptation was not a new organ. It was a practiced way of seeing. First the eyes took in the face. Then the body read the posture around it. Then the mind compared it with memory from yesterday, from last season, from the last bad exchange. Calm faces meant approach. Tight faces meant caution. Averted eyes could mean shame, anger, or withdrawal. In a small group, that reading happened inside cooperation. People lived near each other, shared food, raised children, and depended on one another at night. So face reading could not stay detached. It had to become immediate. A man carrying meat did not just offer meat. He offered a look, a tone, a delay before speaking. A woman returning to camp did not just return. She arrived with her face already telling the group whether she was safe to meet. This is where it stops looking primitive. The whole camp was learning the same language without words. But if the body got so good at it, what did that constant readiness ask of the mind? That skill mattered because it kept people inside the group long enough to eat, sleep, and raise children together. It tells us ancient humans were not only surviving weather and hunger. They were surviving one another. The mind had to become fluent in tiny shifts. A lowered brow, a delayed answer, a smile that did not reach the eyes. That fluency shaped attention itself. It made the human face a place to look for meaning before language could settle things. It also made the body carry social weather. A room could feel safe or unsafe before anyone spoke. A gaze could pull the chest tight. A quiet face could change the whole night. The hidden cost had started to form here, in the same habit that made belonging possible. Constant face reading meant constant readiness. The body stayed near alert, even when nothing had happened yet. That was useful under ancestral pressure. It kept the group cohesive. It protected children near firelight. It helped a person know when to step in or step back. But it also taught the nervous system to treat faces as urgent places, and once a mind learns that, it does not easily stop looking. So what happens when that old watchfulness is carried into a world where every face still seems to decide something about us? That watchfulness did not stay in the camp. It followed us into bright rooms and quiet corridors. The same face reading that once helped people stay inside the group now runs across an office meeting, a phone screen, a crowded street, a classroom, a family dinner. A neutral mouth can still feel loaded. A short pause before answering can feel like rejection. A small frown can land like a warning. The body does not always know it is sitting under fluorescent lights instead of firelight. It still looks for welcome, for distance, for the sign that says stay close or get out. That was the hidden cost. Faster social survival came with a mind that never fully stopped checking. In a world built on belonging, the face became a signal too important to ignore. So even now, a glance that lingers too long can pull attention away from the room. A stranger's expression on a train can change the air inside the chest. A silent dinner table can feel heavier than it should. Faces once meant survival risk. And the strange part is how little that old alarm cares about comfort. Modern life offers more safety than the old darkness did. But the old reading still starts up in the body before thought can soften it. What does this endless face reading reveal about what the mind still expects from other people? It reveals that the mind still treats social life as a place where belonging can be granted or taken away in an instant. The ancient pressure is still there, folded into the first glance. A face in a doorway. A reply that comes late. A coworker whose expression stays flat. A friend who looks away at the wrong moment. None of these are spears. None of them are teeth in the dark. But the body leans toward them as if they might decide whether the group closes around you or leaves you outside. That is why face reading feels so automatic. It is not only curiosity. It is old survival logic moving through modern light. The body is still asking the same quiet question. Am I safe with these people? And because that question was once tied to food, fire, and sleep beside others, it still carries force long after the danger has changed. The room may be warmer. The door may be locked. The need to read the face remains. That is the strange burden of being human. We inherited a mind that can find a future in a glance, and also a wound in one. The opening moment returns here, because the first look was never small. Right now, you can feel it again. The quick scan across a face. The small tightening in the jaw. The pause before you decide whether a room welcomes you or measures you. A message left unread. A stranger's expression on the train. A family silence at the table. The body still listens for the answer before anyone speaks. That is what the old pressure left inside us. Not weakness, not failure, just readiness. Faces once meant survival risk, and the modern mind still carries that meaning in quiet places. It still searches for belonging in a mouth, a brow, a pair of eyes. It still fears the moment a face turns cold. So the mystery is not that we read people. It is that so much of our inner life still begins there. If this changed how you see it, the next story stays close to the same strange place. Inside what the body knows before the mind has words.